In today's episode, I'm going to suggest to you Voicemeeter and VB virtual audio cable. Now, before we begin, I need to explain the reasoning behind this software and what this tutorial is actually about. So this tutorial is about collaboration using voice chat for making YouTube videos. What we are going to be doing is separating our audio tracks so that we have a track for our microphone, a track for the game sound, and a track for the people you're speaking with on Skype so they can be edited independently. This way, if the game sound is really loud, it's not going to muffle out your friends' voices. We are going to be using Voicemeeter, the software that I'm featuring today, DxTory as our recording program of choice, and then we are going to be using either Vent or Skype. It doesn't really matter what voice program you use, although those are the two I'm going to be covering in this video. I'm also going to be recommending that you use Audacity as a backup because it does create higher quality recordings. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but basically get every one of your friends to download Audacity, use it, and record the raw audio that way because it's a lot easier to control things, and then use this method as a backup unless you're planning on doing something a little bit more casual or you guys are fairly confident in your ability to speak clearly and not interrupt each other. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started with the tutorial. The first thing you're going to need to do is download both Voicemeeter and the virtual audio cable. Head along to the link in the description, scroll down, and click on this lovely little Minecraft picture here to download Voicemeter setup. Then scroll back up to the top and go to this tab, and we will scroll down and we want to download the VB virtual audio cable. So just go ahead and download this as well. Alrighty, so as you can see, I have both of the folders downloaded here, and I've extracted them with a tool like WinZip or WinRAR. If you're unfamiliar with that, I've done a video on it. You can click in the description. Anyway, once you've extracted those files, we're first going to install VB cable. So this is the VB virtual audio cable. There's a ton of stuff in here, but basically what we're looking for is the VB cable _ setup X64. Now if you have a 32-bit system, so a really old computer, use this other one. But since I have a 64-bit system, I'm going with this one. Just go ahead and hit run and then click install drive. After that, we need to open up Voicemeeter. There's only one thing in this folder, so go ahead and run that. From here, we're going to go ahead and hit install. This is going to install some brand new audio drivers, but it's going to require you to reboot your computer. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. One super snappy SSD aided reboot later, and we are back with Voicemeeter and the VB virtual audio cable installed. The next step for you is going to be to change your sound settings. Now warning, if you are watching this on YouTube and following the tutorial live, when you change these settings, you will not be able to hear the tutorial. So you may want to watch the video and then do this, because if you watch the video while doing this, you will not hear the next couple of steps. So, you have to open up your sound menu. You can do this by right-clicking in the corner on Windows 7 and going to Playback Devices, or by opening up Playback Devices in the control panel under the sound settings. It should be a menu that looks like this with recording, sounds, communication. You want the playback setting, and you want to change your playback device default to Voicemeeter input. So click on this and hit select default, and then click OK. Alright, so this is Voicemeeter. Now I'm going to get into a little bit more of the details of how this software works in a bit, but first I'm going to show you how to set up your inputs. Number one here is the first hardware input. You need to set this to your microphone. So this is whatever you're going to be speaking to in your video. The second track is going to be your secondary hardware input. You want to select the VB virtual audio cable that we installed earlier. Essentially, this track here is going to be the track of your friends that is being kind of tricked into a virtual microphone. It's kind of hard to explain exactly why that is, but essentially we're taking the sound from, say, Vent or Skype, and we're turning it into a microphone and recording it that way. This third track that you can't edit is actually your computer's sounds. So this is going to be the in-game audio, music you have in the background, all the sorts of stuff like that. It's not going to include the voice chat, it's going to be a separate track. What we're going to do next is we're going to set our hardware out. And this is the sound that you actually hear. We're going to go ahead and set this to whatever your headset is. In my case, my Turtle Beach headset. So you're not going to set this to a microphone, you are going to set this to a speakers or headset. You're almost completely there. However, you may be hearing yourself if you have things set up improperly. And that's because there's two channels. The main output is the sound that you actually hear, and track B is sound that is going to be played on a different track, so you're not going to hear it, but it's still being recorded and processed through the software. So what do we do about this? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to uncheck A and check off B for your microphone, and this will stop you from hearing yourself. Because if I had this turned on, I would hear my own voice right now, which is very distracting. Next up, you want to set the VB virtual audio cable to track A. This is so you can hear it, but it's not mixed in with the background sounds. Finally, for this third track here, set it to A and B, because you want to hear it and you want it to be recorded into its own track. So now that we've done that, all we have to do is configure our sound settings within either Ventrilo or Skype. Let's start with Skype. Okay, if you're using Skype to chat with your friends, what you're going to want to do is go over to the Call tab, scroll down to Audio Settings. From here, you're going to want to set your microphone to whatever microphone you speak into. For your speakers, this is what we are going to change. We want to set our speakers to the VB virtual audio cable. This will make the sounds go through that pseudo microphone I was talking about earlier. If you're using a tool like Ventrilo, it's pretty much the same thing, but I'll go through it anyway. Go to the Setup tab and set your output device to the VB virtual audio cable, and your input device to your microphone. And that's all there is to it. So now we move on to our final step, which is how to set things up inside our recording software. So let's open up DxTory and see what we have to do. From inside DxTory, you're going to want to go over to the Audio tab. From here, you will see a screen like this, although perhaps yours will look something a bit more similar to this one here. What you're going to want to do is set up 3 tracks. Track number 1 should be your microphone. It should not be any sort of virtual input. You want your microphone to be recorded raw. You don't want it to have to run through any sort of software. For track number 2, you want this to be set to the VB Voicemeeter VAO. And finally, for the third tab, you're going to want to set this to the VB virtual audio cable. So now that we've done that, you'll have 3 tracks. Track number 1 will be your voice. Track number 2 will be the game sound. And track number 3 is going to be your virtual audio cable. So this is all the sounds coming through Skype. This is your friends' voices. Now keep in mind, if you're talking to 2 or 3 people, they're all still going to be on the same track. Which is why I recommend that everybody also locally be recording an Audacity file. And then you can combine from those high quality, with the noise reduction plugins and all that run through it, Audacity files. And just using this virtual input to line up the dialogue, and as a backup in case somebody doesn't send you their audio files or something like that happens. It's always good to have backups, and maybe if you're doing something that's a little bit lower production quality, you don't want to deal with Audacity. This is a great way to do things while still giving you the control that you need. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please consider subscribing because there's more like this coming, including some more advanced tutorials. Also, please check out the Let's Play of Star Wars The Old Republic by Shoelace. Yes, that Let's Play is not by me, although I may have a little bit of a cameo in one of the episodes. Spoiler alert. Did the spoiler alert after? That was a pretty bad move. I am pretty bad at these outros though, so you know how this thing kind of goes. As far as other stuff, I do a lot of mod showcases, mod tutorials. Leave some comments down below recommending what you would like me to see me do next. There's going to be some Audacity tutorials in the future and some more advanced audio balancing things, I am sure. Anyways, that's about all the time we have. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Zool, and I hope that you have an excellent day. Now please, enjoy some of this awesome music that I'm going to play.